And yo, I put this out for Father's Day because this is a story that all fathers need to hear. Sometimes we gotta tap into the minds of our kids and find out what's really going on. You heard? A lot of us grew up neglected, and we suffering to this day from what we experienced as kids. And we need to deal with those issues so we can heal from those issues. You heard? So pay attention.
So I was having problems, getting jumped, picked on in school, go home, abuse there. The world, it's not for me. Nothing is going right. I gotta get away. So I just run away. You know what I mean? So I just run away. The streets.
How old was you when you ran away?
I was about, when I first started doing that, that was like probably like I would say like 11, 12.
And that's when you was living where?
The first time I did that, we had moved to Tilden. I was in Tilden then. I'm originally from Langston Hughes, but when we moved to Tilden, that was the first time I started the running away thing.
And what was it that was making you want to run away though?
It was my mom's had, when we moved to Tilden, my mom's had got a boyfriend, and that's the drug era started hitting. And they got caught up in that. So when they got caught up in that, and my mom's was always like she had like an attitude, like she had a sweet side, but my mom was feisty, short, fight for her brothers. She was one of those. And, at my mom's funeral, rest in peace, everybody talked about how she fought for everybody. She was a fighter. Like she had this she taught like the females in the family how to fight, and she had that fight in her. So she always had that. So you add that plus the drug era, it just was, you know what I mean? And then dealing with somebody, her husband was violent and abusive, and he was on the drug era. So that, now I got the bitter end of that stick. That was, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the only child at first. So that's when that came into part, when I started to run away. I was like in probably, like about 12, 11, I started to run away. The abuse and all that, my mom's, the stitching cords, I couldn't take that shit. Like, that shit was crazy, you know what I'm saying? When she getting her shit.
What you mean, like your mom's was ODing with the beating on you and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. My mom's had, it was something I did. I don't know what I did little things that kids, hey, so my mom says like, she, like it'd be something little, like I cut my hair, something like that, and she'd go off to the extension cord. Like I'm like, that wasn't that serious for the extension cord. And I remember one day, it was so crazy that, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying this, I love my mom's, like that was our biggest, losing her was the biggest, you could send me for a million years, the face of the death, whatever. That pain that I felt losing her, I don't know how people do it. I compare it to nothing, but at the time, I remember one time she beat me with that extension cord, and I couldn't take it. Like I had pushed her. I never hit my hand. I never put my hands on my mom. Never raised my hand. But that day, I was like 11 or something like that, and I pushed her because I couldn't take it, and she, I couldn't take the pain for like I was too young. So when I pushed her, she them little the metal things on the bed. She like cut her and like cut her on her ankle, the metal piece part of the bed, and the end of the bed, and she fell. I ran out the door. I got out the door and I ran down the steps, 16 flights of stairs, and I had on the pajamas. That's when I think British Knights was out. I had on those and I had on the pajamas, and I walked from Tilden to Langston Hughes. It was in the wintertime, and I just had pajamas on. People were seeing me. They was like, yo, Mel. They call me Mel. They was like, yo, Mel, you alright? I'm like, yeah, I'm alright. I'm walking, and I got pajamas on, and it's snow outside. And I walked to my grandmother's house in Langston Hughes, and I stayed over there for a while. But I'm like, that shit was getting too crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, having family meetings over it and all that. So it was getting serious. You know, so that's when I started to run away. Gone, living in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I used to stay in the hallways over in Howard Projects. When I used to run away a lot. Because I had cousins that was over there. And they used to, you know, I used to stay up in the hallway all night. Just stay in the hallway till the next morning. My cousin be going out for school. Him was the same age. He'd be coming out for school, and I'd be in the hallway just staying there. Like, I just stand there until it get day outside. And he come out, and I call him, and I'm like, he tell me to be back from school, and they be back from school, whatever. I come in, get myself together, and he come back. I go in, I wash up, get something to eat from there, and I'll be back out again. You know what I mean? So that was the routine. You know what I mean? That was the routine.
Let me ask you though, was it more that your moms was beating you, or was it more that you was mad that both of them was messing with drugs? What was it?
Everything. It was all that because my father, he was around. My biological father, he lived in Langston Hughes. I had two families. My mother's side and my father's side both lived in Langston Hughes, 315 Southern Avenue. They both lived there. They both was from that same building. I had family, all that. My father was like, he just didn't give up. Like, there's no other way to say it. The nigga ain't give a fuck. I used to be around him. I'll be around him. There's no love there. It was just no love. My father never said, I love you. He never gave me that, you know what I mean, like what I needed. So that was never there. I was around him, and he just didn't give a fuck. Period. There's no way, you know what I mean? There's no love there. He never showed no love. Never. So I didn't have that security. I didn't have that, you know, that I didn't have that self-worth, things that I needed. I know some people, like, everybody going through that. I needed that. I needed that. I didn't get it from him. And then my mom was going through what she was going through. And it was abuse. It was abuse there and neglect. So I'm going to school with, you know, I didn't have the clothes that I needed, like you know what I mean? So I'm getting slack from people in the school, picking and messing with me in school, and I didn't have the confidence to really defend myself properly at the time. And so I was getting it from both ends. In school, I didn't get that encouragement to go, don't worry about school. You handy, you know what I mean? I didn't get that. So I was having problems, getting jumped, picked on in school, go home, abuse there. This is the world, it's not for me. Nothing is going right. I got to get away. So I just run away. You know what I mean? So I just run away. The streets.
And you said this was, how old was you at this time?
I was like, it started at 11, it's going on to 12, and 12 and 13. And I was actually trying to go to, because I was looking at, you know, you look at people to define yourself. I'm looking at, I ain't have an older brother or nothing like that, so I was looking at older dudes that I saw in the neighborhood that I felt like, damn, I need to get like him, or be like dudes that I was saying, dude, he went to the spot fair. He just came home from spot. Look at him, he got some size on him. I was a little frail little dude, so like he came home from spot fair. I just hear people talking like, yo, he came home from jail, he came home from Rikers Island, he came from spot fair. So I was like, oh shit, spot fair. They be like, yeah, they eating good in there. He eating good. Look, he came home and they look secure. I wanted to get into my man, and I wanted to grow into who I needed to become. So when I seen them dudes coming home from prison and spot fair, I was like, I started wilding out. I started doing robberies. I was running around. I started running around with the low lives. I wasn't a low life, but I had my cousin. My cousin was a low life, so I was running around with the low lives, and I was doing things to get in. Like when I get knocked for stuff, I'd be like, yo, you know, I'm ready to go to spot for whatever I got to deal with to become who I need to become. I was gonna do it, and when I get caught, they be like, they be like, how old are you? They find out my age. They're like, you ain't going to. They be like, we gotta call your parents, call your mother. I'm like, nah, don't call. Just send me to the homes. Send me to jail. They be like, nah, you too young. So they call my parent or whatever, or sometimes they just let me go. And that's what was going on. And then I started going to the plazas, over there, Nova Jewelry Plazas, over there on Mother Gaslin lot. I just go over there. And I was around Mousy, rest in peace. Brown, rest in peace. I was around Dooney, rest in peace, all of them. I started hanging around them. When I met them, Mousy kind of like was trying to take me under the wing. They was a little older. They was older than me. And they was like, hustling and, doing what they was doing. And Mousy was like, yo, I like you. Like, y'all like, he wanted me to rock with him. But then Brown, you know what I'm saying, was Mousy right hand man. And he was a little jealous, I guess. He said, nah. He's like, how old are you? And he was like, nah. So Mousy was like, he could come. He wanted me to rock with them. And Brown was like, nah, he too young. Sure, he too young, man. He too young. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want it. So, that's, I was on my own. I was just, out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's what it was.
So yo, do you like before that crack hit, like was your mom's the type was dipping and dabbing with drugs, or she ain't mess with drugs at all?
She was dipping and dabbing. She was dipping and dabbing before that. I didn't know. My aunt told me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know for sure. But my aunt told me. My mom, she said, your mother always did what she wanted to do. I knew she smoked. I know she did. She was, her main thing was weed back then. That's when, cause she used to take me with her over there on, was that Osborne, when they had the weed spot in Osborne. That was her thing, weed then. She used to go to the, weed spot that's had the yellow bags right there, Osborne and Pickens. She used to take me with her there. Let me play the mixed pack, man. She getting the weed. That was her thing, weed and beer back then. That was it. So she was all right then. My mom was working, going to school. She's like, this is what I'm doing to show you when you get older, you need to. She was, handling her business back then. She was just smoking weed and drinking beer. And then, like, she was like that, that was her thing. She really handled, like, she didn't play. Like, I just go in that room, go in her closet. My mom's she had a little pistols in there. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't play about me back then. She's like, don't touch my son. She whooped. I seen her whoop. She whooped on my ass. If she, she whooped. I seen her put in some work on people in the street, you know what I'm saying, over me. And she ended up pistol whipping, my uncle probably didn't want me to say, she pistol whipped my uncle over me back in the days, because, he beat me one day. I was probably like, I don't know, I was probably like 7, 8, and the belt actually ended up catching me in the face. So my mother was at work, and she came home. And that's when we was in Lacey Hughes, and she sort of whooped my face. She got her gun. It was right in the room. She just keep it in this little bag in the closet. She pulled it out, and she like, you hit my son. She pistol with my uncle. You know what I mean, over there. You know what I mean. She didn't play back then. It's when we moved to Tilden, and that crack ever hit. That's when messed up. Cocaine. She was all into all that. She was getting cocaine a little here and there, and then a crack ever. That's what messed her all the way up. And I was so young, I didn't know how to, help her get it off. If it would have been, as a grown man, my mom's wouldn't have been. I would have dominated that situation. But, she was all out. When that hit, and then she had a coke conspiracy. She was dealing with, I think, the dude. When she dealt with the dude, and that's when it really, she started doing what he was doing, and she was, it got crazy. That's when it took over. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of my biggest, I don't know if I say regrets, but, I wish I could have helped her. I know I could have helped her, because, but I needed to be, as a boy, I couldn't. As a man, I would have been able to help her. I would have did what I needed to do. But I couldn't help her then, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to find myself. And I was a child. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yo, my bro, I'm gonna keep it real with you, my bro. Like, my mom's done beat me when I was a kid. You feel what I'm saying? Like, she done took it to them levels and all of that. These black women think that that's what they supposed to do. This is what happens when it ain't no strong, black, educated, smart men in the picture, niggas start adapting and going back to that slavery shit. Like, if you ever read that book, Are You Still a Slave? You feel what I'm saying? Like, real talk, my nigga, all that beating your kids with belts and extension cords and all of that crazy shit, that shit that came directly from slavery. Niggas learned that shit from the slave master. You feel what I'm saying? And my nigga, I got kids and I don't beat my kids at all. I don't put my hands on my kids, and I got 3 different baby mothers, and I let niggas know, don't put your motherfucking hands on my kids, because I got beat, and I know people that was in situations like you where their mother or their father was overly aggressive and abusive, and at the end of the day, that shit is child abuse. And that's gonna rub a lot of niggas the wrong way when they hear this on this channel, because niggas beat their kids and nobody want to be told on what they could do to their kids. But I'm gonna tell you some shit. If you teach your kids that when they do something wrong, the answer to that shit is to respond with violence, they are going to grow up and respond to violence when something goes wrong in their life. That female emotional shit, that's how niggas go in these streets and start shooting and killing each other, because they learned that shit from their mother. Oh, you broke a plate? Your mother go get the belt, whip you. You feel what I'm saying? Beat you. You crying and screaming. They taught us how to deal with those problems. So now a nigga do something you don't like, nigga step on your motherfucking shit, nigga bump you, you get emotional. Oh, what, nigga, you bump me? You go get the belt. But instead of the belt, it's the gun. And you shoot and kill a motherfucker because that's what you learned from your moms and from getting your ass beat as a kid. And that shit ain't healthy, my nigga. And a lot of us got beat with belts and extension cords, and I know a lot of motherfuckers personally. I got beat, but I know niggas who got beat 10 times more than me. And they mother thought that was the right thing, so it ain't even they mother's fault all the way. It's slavery, bro. We inherited a lot of that shit from slavery, and it still to this day exists within our motherfucking communities. We still doing slave shit to our kids, and that shit breeds fucking murderers, period.
Yeah. I didn't really understand it. Like, it's like, you know, so I remember one day, my mom, she was wilding one day. I ran in the bathroom. This one, it got crazy. I ran in the bathroom, and I locked the door in the bathroom. I was holding the lock. So she came with a sledgehammer. She smashed through the door with a sledgehammer and stuck her hand through. So I'm still holding the lock so she can't open it. She stuck her hand through the hole and stabbed me with a knife. That's when it got crazy. The police came and all that. She told them, take them. They took me and they put me in a group home. They took me and put me in a group home in Staten Island. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in there for a while, and you know, I ended up I stayed in the group home, and I was adjusting to it. You know, I was adjusting to it, and then it was in I know it's Rose Street in Staten Island, but I ended up running away from the group home eventually, and then I was back in the streets, running away, you know, here, there, and then running away. I was sleeping in the hallways. You know what I'm saying? I started staying in the hallways like everywhere. I was in the hallways, and I remember being in Marcus Garvey, and I had people that all right, my bro's Self, you know, and that's like Big Bro right there, Big Bro Self, Berto. You know, he was Panamanian, my man Fat Cat. They was a Panamanian family in Marcus Garvey that, you know, they embraced me. They used to come. I was still sleeping in the hallways, but their moms cooked the food. They bring it to me, and right in the hallway. I'm in that hallway at night. They come bring the food to me, and they embrace me. And Self, my boy Berto, his love went beyond that. He actually, you know, really went on there and saved my life a couple of times. He really, you know, showed me a lot of love, so I got to pay homage to that. But I was searching for that to define myself. You know what I'm saying? And it was God. Like I used to look to God, and like that's who I want. That's how I gotta get like. You know what I'm saying? I looked at guys like Mike Murdo from Marcus Garvey. You know, I used to watch him. Son was disciplined. He didn't take no shorts from nobody, and then play no games. He was a little older than me. You know what I'm saying? And he used to be in the plazas, and I used to see him in the, you know what I mean? Son handle his business. You know what I'm saying? Mike Murder. And I used to be like, damn, that's how a man used to need to be. Discipline, principles, you know what I'm saying? He conducted himself a certain way. And I was like, yeah, that's how I gotta get, you know what I'm saying? And when I got older as a man, I actually had a conversation with him about that, you know what I'm saying? You know, how I, used to view him. I always looked at him like that's, you know what I'm saying, the way he conducted himself. And him and my big bro, Berto, Self, they was real tight. Still to this day, they real tight. And you know what I'm saying, I should watch dudes like him, Mikael, from your PJs, you know what I'm saying, how they moved a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But
how old was you when you said that happened, when your mom's stabbed you?
I was probably about 11, 12.
And what you said that was over? Why you had locked yourself in the bathroom and stuff?
I had this. What I did, I don't know. I ate something I wasn't supposed to eat, something like that. It was something minor, like I ate a sandwich. Or, you know what I'm saying? It was like something like that. I ate a sandwich or something. It was something minor, and she just went off. And she came in, you know what I mean? She just started wilding. She just was after me, and I was trying to stop her. She was like biting me and everything. Like she was like really losing it. I was like, this is getting crazy. And I think it, you know what I mean, it was that era. I know it was that era that she was on that drug era that came into, and then she had issues, I think, from childhood, because she had to talk to me. Sometimes it used to hit her. Like she used to be like, I remember sometimes she used to be like, yo, I gotta get away from certain people. I'm changing everything. I'm sorry. She used to come into her senses and be like, I gotta switch everything. She'd tell me, she's like, I gotta switch. I gotta get this together. I'm sorry. I gotta change things. I gotta get away from. Like she wanted to go there, but she didn't have the strength to stay there. You know what I mean? If it had been me at this age, I would have got her there where she needed to be. She didn't have her brothers and all. Nobody couldn't get her there because they didn't understand her, or they didn't love her the way I did, so they couldn't get her there. So she wanted to get there, but they just wouldn't get there for her. So I just ended up staying in. I was always in the streets, and then I had a brother and sister that came after me. You know what I'm saying? She ended up having, my brother and sister. They was much younger than me. You know what I mean? But they didn't see what I seen. She started. I don't think she left the crack, that hard drug, crack alone, but she was doing other stuff. So she never really recuperated, like as far as getting herself all the way, but she was functioning. She was like good as far as she maintained her crib and doing stuff like that. But she was, they didn't see what I seen. My younger siblings, 2 siblings, they didn't see what I seen. I ended up going to jail at 16. You know what I'm saying? I ended up going to prison at 16, but they didn't see what I seen with her. That was it was crazy because I was searching for something. Like I was searching. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I always felt that the way I was, it was like I knew I was a good person. I knew I was going to develop into a good heart because I cared about people. I had a lot of love in me, but I had no connection to others that loved me. So I didn't feel the love coming back. I knew that, people in my life, that's why to this day, anybody that ever came in contact with me that showed me love, that embraced me, that showed me that love, I never forgot. I appreciated it. I appreciated love and loyalty on a different level because I never had that. So that since I never had that, anytime I received love or loyalty from somebody, it stayed with me forever. You know what I'm saying? I always had that with me because I never had it. So I always appreciated love or loyalty that I got from anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I never had that nowhere. Never felt that love, that loyalty, or that to give you that self-worth or that confidence. I never had that. So when I got that from anybody that showed me that love, I really appreciated it to this day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's some deep shit, bro. That's some deep shit.
So, that's why it's like, to this day, my bond with my kids is strong. I got kids, you know what I'm saying? My bond with them is just crazy. My daughter, man, I can show you things my daughter talking about, and you know what I'm saying? My daughter, my daughter. Later on, we get into that later. I guess later, I end up becoming a single parent later on, and like it was crazy. Like it got crazy. Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got my bond. I got that bond with my kids because I know what they need. I know what they, and I should see. And the crazy thing is, when I started getting older, I just see young guys, like young kids. I seen dudes with their sons, and they just stare at me, and they like, yo, why you staring at him? Like, don't you be staring at people. We be in the elevator. After I came home from print doing a bid, and I know what they looking at me for. I already know what it is because I was them. You know what I'm saying? I saw a saying that said, "Be who you needed when you was younger," and that's what I try to. That's what I try to be to those that go through or might be going through similar things that I might have went through. It said, be who you needed when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? And I know exactly what I needed when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I just needed that love. I needed that security. You know what I'm saying? I needed that. Like some people's like, I don't need nobody. I don't want about nothing. Nah, I needed that when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? And I never got that. So,
man, anybody, most of these anybody that's out here in these streets robbing, killing, shooting, it's cause of a lack of love they ain't get, my nigga. That's the bottom motherfucking line. Niggas could say, oh, nah, I was raised by my grandparents and they loved me. Nigga, if you ain't get that love from your mother and your father, you gonna be in these streets, nigga. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? You gonna be in these streets and you gonna do shit you don't supposed to be doing because there's something in you from not getting that love, from not getting that nurturing that you was supposed to get as a kid. It's gonna make you, it's gonna put some evil in you for a time period until you get it out yourself. You feel me? Until you get that shit out your system, it's gonna put some evil in you, my nigga.
Wow. I had, and the crazy thing, later on when I started doing bids, I had brothers that came to me and be like, yo, we might be just talking, a general conversation, and I used to hear it all the time, like, yo, let me ask you a question. I'm like, what? So, why you got so much anger in you? I used to hear that from dudes up north in prison. They always ask me, like, why you got so much anger in you? And that made me look at myself more, because I'm like, really, I'm a loving person. I love people. I love bro, I swear to you, I love my people. When I started learning my history and what my people went through and all that, when I say I love my people, man, I love my people, man. I can't emphasize that enough.
Remember what you said?
What my people went through. Mm-hmm.
Facts, my bro. Remember what you said in the last story we did when you got it on with the dude in shock? You said, I hit that nigga with everything I had. How my moms used to beat me, everything. Yeah. You feel me? That shit is always gonna be a source of energy, my nigga. And it could be used for something positive or it could be used for something extremely negative. But when you got that pent up anger in you from a youth, that shit is gonna always be up in there, bro. And it's always gonna be a power you could tap into. Is what you do with it.
That's facts. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Word up, my nigga. But it's like, shit is crazy, bro. Shit crazy, man. Bottom line is, the black experience overall, a lot of us grow up in poor fucking communities where our parents become susceptible to drugs because it's poverty and fucking despair all around them at all times. And then they had parents that went through that same shit themselves. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a dirty, vicious cycle of poverty, drugs, and crime that our people is caught up in. And, you know, the only way out of it is to realize what's going on.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's a super fact, bro. And crazy, my daughters, they be getting wind. They be I be hearing like said the last thing I did with you, I didn't send it to them, but I got word that they didn't listen to it, so they seeing things that happen in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they need to know too, bro. It's another reason why we do this, bro. So one day we may not be here. I hate to sound morbid, but one day we may not be here, and our kids get to listen to these archives and really know who their parents were, man. You feel what I'm saying? Where they understand, they have a higher understanding of this whole life, and they don't make none of those mistakes that we made.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I was just talking to a young brother the other day that just lost his moms and his pops. Both, you know, they was on drugs heavy, and he was living with his uncle, and his mom's passed away. They found that just the other day in the Bronx. And no, not just the other day, a few weeks ago. They found in the Bronx, and he, you know, I spoke to him, and I told him, I said, listen, I said, no matter what your moms did, you know, in life, you know what I mean, don't compare your mother to nobody else's mother. Your mother was who she was to you. You loved your mother, and she gave you what she could give you. We don't know what our parents went through before we was born, because we wasn't here. We don't know what they went through. What they went through made them who they was. Exactly. When they had us. So we don't have a right to judge them. You know what I'm saying? We got to accept them for who they is and accept the love that they did give us if they did. And I told them, I said, even if your mom never gave you nothing, never gave you no love, you never felt she gave you love, no matter what, if you feel she ain't give you nothing, you can say one thing: your mother gave you life. That was enough. If she gave you that, that's all she needed to give you. That's all she could give you, because she didn't give you nothing else, because that's all she could give you. She gave you what she was able to give you, and she gave you life. So you cherish that, the life that she gave you, and you make the best of that. And that's what I told him. You know what I'm saying? And you move on with that. You carry that as strength with you. You know what I'm saying? You don't let her passing on bring you down. Let it lift you up, and you carry that energy with you. She gave you what she could, and you take that and you touch the sky with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got to take it for what it's worth. Everything happened for a reason. Everything happened with my parents that made me who I am for a reason. I have a lot of young people that I done connected with and touched their lives. I done spoke at schools and all that. You know what I'm saying? I done spoke to a lot of youth. You know what I'm saying? So everything happens for a reason. And I just hope my pain or things that I might have went through can inspire and help somebody else. You know, that's what I look at. Anything that happened with me, anything that caused me pain, any struggles I go through, I hope me overcoming it can help somebody else, that might be dealing with it. That's what I hope.